Take two. That was very stressful, you guys. Welcome to the channel. It's just Rondo. What's up, y'all? I said all backwards because that's how discombobulated I am. Oh my goodness. So what had happened was my card got compromised and I forgot to change my payment method over here on, you know, part dough. What's up, El Cid? El Cid, girl, you just be everywhere. Are you exhausted? Because I'm exhausted for you. Y'all check out El Cid because she be's over here doing the darn thing on YouTube. So anyway, let me ground myself. I'm running around here trying to find credit cards and put the child. Anyway, we're back and I'm back. And it's hump day. And clearly I ran dead into a hump. That was a hump I didn't see coming, y'all. Help me over this hump. It is Project Runway, season 21, episode 9. What did y'all think of the episode? At this point, I'm just ready to get to episode 10. I'm here. El Cid is here. We be talking about these things over here on YouTube for your entertainment. I feel like I enjoy watching El Cid's live far more than I enjoy watching this. But, you know, here we are, y'all. We down to 5 because, you know, Christian says Bolognia and Jesus. I don't even understand. What was the point in that, wasting our time with that? That didn't make any sense to me, y'all. We need 14 episodes at least. I don't know how many there were before. We need 14 episodes at least and 14 designers. We're exciting today with all my technical difficulties. What would I be without technical difficulties? I mean, sometimes they're there. I feel like I'm not the only one that has them. I don't see you having them too very often, but you know, here we go. What's up, Rage bait? You always say that, Kylie. Rage bait what? Rage bait that I flubbed the whole thing, had to start all over, or rage bait that they ended up bringing back these two people that I was glad to see go. It's just, yeah, I was into a little bit of rage. We teach Tim to make it work. You know what? I don't see why Tim and Christian can't share the responsibility. I mean, I like them both a lot. I don't see why Tim can't just come through, cup a few, sit in for Nina, since Nina wasn't trying to associate herself with this season at all. Y'all notice how she did that? Nina tried to sit somewhere and say her schedule wouldn't allow. Y'all can find other people to do it. Well, they did that. They went this week. They fought Paul Tazewell, an Oscar-winning costume designer. I wanted to get some of his costume designs, but I forgot. But he did do the costumes designs for Wicked. I've never seen Wicked. Have y'all seen Wicked? I like The Wizard of Oz. I've just never saw Wicked, and it's the musical part for me. And what's her name? Ariana Grande looks so dang teeny. Oh, it's hard to look at her. He's the first Black designer to win an Oscar for Best Costume Design, or Black male designer. Kudos to him. You know, I feel like, you know, we don't necessarily know these people. I don't know everybody. I don't sit around, you know, studying designers. There was a time when I did. I've kind of fell off that a little bit. Everybody was in Fashion Week. When I look at Fashion Week videos, it's usually I go to the same people that I like. I don't necessarily, you know, the new guys take a minute for me to get to. I'll have to do better at that. I've seen a lot of Actively Black on the runway. Actively Black is on my bucket list. It's on my manifestation. What did that lady, Dr. Kalia, say? It's on my storyboard. All the things. Actively Black, I feel like, you know, the universe is telling me I belong somewhere over there within that corporation. I don't know how, but, you know, y'all, man, help me manifest that. Help me manifest finding myself over there with Actively Black. Anyway, I saw Carolina Herrera. She's one of my favorites. I haven't sat down yet because Fashion Week just happened and really look at everybody's designs. I think I'll do that. Like, I'll come back with a Fashion Week review and, you know, with some of the designers, and I'll check out, see what's new out there. So y'all look for that. Maybe next week. or following this finale. There might be a lot for me to put together, this clownery over here with something that's actually good. But anyway, I'll get into the episode. I've been talking a lot. Paul Tazwell is over here. And this week's challenge is to reimagine the idea of Oz. Finally, they get a 2-day challenge, for goodness sakes, because they've made these people hurry up and work. And I want to put a little bit of the responsibility on that alone. Even though like there's no standout over here for me necessarily, um, they played us with these twins, thought we was gonna be entertained by all this nonsense that they're doing over here. That's not why we're here. We don't like the drama. We like the creativity and the designs. I even like the friendships and the bonding. I like that way more than the snarkiness. Remember that season where they were so mean? Gretchen was so mean to Michael Costello. And look at Michael Costello still out here living his life as a fashion designer, designing for, the likes of Toni Braxton and still on these red carpets. And where's Gretchen? Somewhere in the mountains doing something online, not being around people. So I didn't like that season. Mondo was there. Oh my God, Gretchen, Mondo, Michael Costello. That season had a lot of designers that were very much memorable. I don't know that's going to happen over here. They even started out like y'all have brought back the person that went home first the last time. There was a reason why they went home first, but no, y'all want to start. That's a waste of an episode. I digress. Anyway, I haven't seen Oz, so I'll have to take y'all's opinion on whether or not they stepped up to the challenge. I could go by what I like and what I can imagine for the Oz that I know. I know Dorothy. What's her name? I forget her name. That played Dorothy back in the day. Judy Garland. I know Judy Garland wasn't doing the same thing they were doing over here. Maybe I'm out to watch Wicked. I know my daughter wants to. Anyway, they do get two of Paul's designs to pull their inspiration from. So I guess even if you didn't necessarily see it, which I'm sure they all have, they probably made them watch it behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everything was copacetic. But anyway, they all seen it. They're identifying with characters. These brothers think they're like, I don't know, part of the cast of The Wiz or Oz or what is it called? Wicked. They get two of his designs to pull inspiration from. And he also said pink and green defines the world of Wicked. So when I go in the fabric store now, that's what I'm focused on. I'm guessing this Glinda. Is she Glinda? Ariana Grande. She's the good witch, I'm supposing. And then, the bad witch. So I have an imagination. I guess I could see, what it would really be. But they have the luxury, which I think this is a pretty big deal, of having one-on-ones with Paul Tazwell. That's very dope. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when you're getting in these types of situations, your connections that you make are very important. So to act a fool in front of this man, Bolognia, is not probably the best decision. The fashion world is very cliquish. I feel like it's very male dominated, like most things. And so you have to depend on your network to get you like up to the next level. He's going through Bolognia, she's doing her streetwear thing. She needs to go bigger into avant-garde. She needs to elevate. What is streetwear? You don't have to go outside the box or outside of being true to yourself, but you got to go very big. So, step outside your comfort zone. See what your creativity is gonna be. He told Veejay she's very quiet designer. She be in the corner, like not sharing what she got going on in her head, except for when she comes out of the corner to start some shit, and then go back in her corner, pretend like she don't know what's going on. But anyway, she's a very quiet designer. They wanted her to bring, some noise to whatever it is she's designing. And, how do you interpret that? I don't know. I get it, I guess, to some extent, but from a designer's perspective, I feel like that would confuse me a little bit. She like, what the hell do you mean? She channeled it, whatever it is. Like, I think one thing about Veejay, she gonna stick to whatever it is she had planned to do. So, that's a cool thing. Um, Ethan, child, Ethan needs to bring Utica. If ever Utica was in need of her presence, this would be the time to do it, Ethan. I feel like Ethan, honestly, maybe that's his avenue that he should consider doing costume design. He's so very over the top. This whole time we've been like, tone it down, tone it down, tone it down. But maybe he could, gravitate towards costume design. He could sew a whole, collection in a hot damn minute. So I feel like Ethan, and he always knows how to conduct himself on the runway. When he's getting critiqued, you don't see him, even if he in his confessional, he's like, I'm pissed off. But when he's on the runway, he's very gracious. He knows, how not to burn bridges, Antonio. I don't know. I mean, that's all you can say about Ethan. He doesn't have any problems with his creativity. I think, people start giving him directions. Did they have any directions for him? Not a whole lot. They liked what direction he was going in with his design. So, you talk one thing when it's written on a piece of paper. Then when you get down to the fabric store, sometimes your mind changes and you're like, oh shit, this is you. Sometimes for me, you can have an idea in your head and then you run into a fabric that's like, hey, come over here. And it has nothing to do with anything you were thinking. And I say, those are the instincts that you have to follow in terms of your creativity. Sometimes your mind needs a redirect. So we'll see what happens down to mood. Jesus wants to make a coat dress. Of course he does, because that's what he does. He makes coats. I like his coats. He wants to make a coat dress with huge hips. Well, we've seen that before. We've seen you do it before. We've seen a lot of people do it before. Did Ethan did it? Everybody did it. I don't know. Like the hips, is that really? I have never went anywhere. First of all, one thing I was born with is some hips. So the last thing I need is to add some more hips. So I guess, if you're tall, skinny, like Ethan, wafy kind of, you might desire hips. Or this guy, he's Jesus. Coat dress. Got it. Veejay and Jesus spend a lot of time focused on each other more than they do focused on themselves. It's like this thing across the room, girl. Either she be in the corner, talking smack, or she come over, what I was thinking, asking questions that she knows gonna piss people off. I don't like that. That really irritates me. I hate it when people do that type of stuff. No offense. Don't say come if you're gonna come over to me and say no offense, just don't even finish. Take it somewhere else. Go tell somebody else about how you don't think somebody should be offended. Anyway, mood. Ethan is back in that crystal section with us crystal fabric. And he's always, that fabric was $750 a yard. $750 a yard. Did that look like $750 worth of fabric to you? I go in the fabric store when I see things like $30 a yard. I'll be like, I wonder, I miss Joann's. Now I'm like, have to, source my things from the internet. And I can do that because I finally, after graduating and spending many years making mistakes, I understand how textiles work. But plus, like, you don't need it. You have a pretty basic understanding of textiles based on what people actually wear in real life versus what they're wearing on the red carpet. I was like, $750, I guess, child. Hey, Chicago girl. Chicago girl says, hey to everyone. Did y'all know Kylie was my daughter? I force her to watch Project Runway. I don't force her. She likes it. She's been watching it since she was little, so she definitely has opinion. I used to take my kids to the fabric store, and as soon as I pull up in front of Joann's, they would be like, and now they go in and like give me their input. So they kind of help guide me in directions when I'm creating things. So yeah, shout out to Kylie for being one of my favorite people in the whole world. Veejay is buying red fabric, even though this man said he pink and green is the inspiration. Veejay, why? Why would you do that? He said it defines. I feel like if somebody says to you specifically, it defines the world of Wicked, then it's a pretty big deal. But Veejay is over here in the red section talking about, I want to step outside the box. Girl, you better get back in the box before it's too late, because these Estradas is coming for you. You done started a fire, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to put this one out because they are hot. Well, I know you weren't forced here, but you were definitely forced into the fabric store. Many, many years of you being forced to go in the fabric store. Now, I'm off track a little bit, but she's here and we're talking. My younger one did not have such a problem with it. She would sit down at the table with all the little old ladies flipping through pattern books. Hopefully not telling all my business to a bunch of strangers. Yeah, that's how that was. Jesus goes over to Veejay and asks her, can he see her fabric? And I was like, why do you need to see her fabric? Y'all don't even like each other. No, Jesus wants to see Veejay's sketches. No, we're not showing you sketches. Veejay wants to see his fabric. He can't hide the fabric. Once he gets in the workroom, we're gonna see what fabric you're working with. I'm very much like Veejay though, in that not like start stirring up trouble, but I like to keep my sketches private. I don't really want no input because these two be trying to tell people what to do and throw you off. And that's why it's not like if I come to you for constructive criticism, that's one thing. But if you jumping all in my business before I'm ready to figure out where I'm going, that's a distraction and I don't like it. They're in the workroom. As soon as they get in the workroom, here go Veejay. I don't understand. She walked over to Ethan and said, Jesus said you stole his fabric color. That is not what happened. Definitely not what happened. They were in the fabric store. Jesus knew nothing about what Ethan was doing. Veejay went over there and was like, hey, Ethan is using green. You're both using green. And he was like, I thought he was doing silver. But I guess at some point he changed his mind when he got there. The man said use green. So I think green was a better direction to go in. And yeah, but Jesus wasn't caring nothing about that. I mean, yes, Veejay's shade is entertaining, but I guess for me, since I've spent time in those workrooms like that, and you see how snaky people be trying to, it's a dress, it's a design, but it feels like your baby. So when somebody comes and tries to steal your ideas and things, now that right there was very shady because Jesus did not say that. And I'm not a Jesus fan. I'm not an Estrada fan in general because I feel like their egos is way too much. Anyway, Jesus didn't say that. There was just some confusion. I'm guessing since we missed so much, Jesus and Antonio and Ethan have decided they're going to go to this thing together. They're a trio. I mean, maybe not. I doubt that they're gonna be a trio, but this is what they've discussed in private. When she did that though, Jesus checked her. He was like, "Oh no, bitch, we're not doing that. I never said that. You're putting words in my mouth. It's just starting. It's to the finale. This is where things get crunk up." I don't know why Veejay doesn't focus on all those straps and things that she's doing over there in that corner. Focus on that. But if that's what they gave, I agree with you, Chicago girl. I think we would still be interested. I personally would. I like the friendships. I like when they build these friendships and then they get to the end and be, turning on each other because they get down to the runway and have to fight for their life. But, Veejay wanted to fight over here. She's been doing it the whole time. And honestly, Jesus gets worked up so easily. It's kind of fun to watch. Anyway, her plan worked. He running around there, steam coming out of his ears. And she's in the back table like, what? I mean, it's just a competition. I don't know what he's all, crashing out about. Yeah, you do. They're sitting down, they're sitting down at their little break table. It's very close quarters. You just give them people one little folding table, and all six of them got to sit there together while they're eating their food. And then Veejay is like, so this is a question. It's just a question. The way she says just a question, it kind of very much mimics no offense. She said, which one of the brothers deserves the finale more? They hate that question. And Jesus especially hates that question because I think deep down in his heart, he feels like he deserves it more. And Antonio been saying it the whole time. So he hasn't had any problem saying he came over here to win. But they have to know that people are going to feel that way because it's a competition. So at the end of the day, are you competing with your brother or not? Because both of y'all can't win. Y'all came out of the womb separately. You lived in there together, but at some point, somebody that had to decide who was going to go first. I wonder who came first. I feel like it's Jesus. And if it's not him, then that explains why he's always fighting to be first. You ever, like, remember when you were a kid and you had a lineup in kindergarten and there was always those people that would be like pushing to be first? And I'm like, listen, I'm just going to stand over here against this wall. Like, y'all are bugging. Like, we do this every day. And every day somebody is clamoring, probably Karen, to be first in line so she could stand by the teacher. It's irritating. Anyway. Veejay said her honesty sometimes makes her lose friends. Well, then she should figure out a way to speak honestly without losing her friends. And the fact that she said that makes, clearly she knows what she's doing. So she's over there purposely starting stuff. Ethan is entertained. Bolognia is entertained. They just watching them, Estrada's blow a gasket and watching Veejay pretend like she's confused and don't know what's going on. Christian comes in for a check-in. They had a lot of check-ins this time. He came to check and see what's going on. And as soon as Christian got over to Veejay, she started telling on, crying and started talking about how she's been bullied and, rejected based on her being transgender. I was like, I believe all of those things happened, but they have nothing to do with what's going on over here. That was some flimsy stuff you did over there. Nobody was over there saying anything about you being transgender or any of those things you brought up. They was over there snapping on you because you started some mess. Now, they said they thought you should have went home last week. I mean, they're entitled to think that. I mean, at the end of the day, you didn't go home, so who cares? Because y'all ain't friends anyway. Everybody thinks I should have went home because I didn't have a reveal. Okay, I didn't have a reveal, but my suit was still fire. And your clients didn't like your outfit and mine did. So I won. I'm still here. Get over it. She crying. I don't even think she's that bothered by that. She's poking the bear. The bear is like angry. The designers get a final check-in with Paul before they head to the runway. They had all these opportunities. Like, I've never seen a guest come in so many times to talk with the designer. So they did have a lot of opportunity, to talk to this man. You can imagine like what transpired that we didn't see. So that's very cool. I feel like it could be a little bit intimidating too, having him there, like seeing like what you do. So let's get into the things. Let's talk about these designers. We'll start here. Antonio Estrada came with a Venus coming out of a shell that's a little bit flimsy. It's supposed to be a flower. The flower ain't really flowering. There's a heart on her titty. This is not avant-garde. And I think they also rely a lot on the fabric. Like, it's pretty fabric. He said he was going to make a J-Lo jumpsuit. He probably should have stuck with that thought, to be honest. If it's one thing he going to do is he going to make something see-through with some darn thong panties on. But yeah, not Ethan. Antonio is on the bottom. The judges were not a fan of this, except for Tyra, who looked horrible. Tyra Banks is one of the judges this week, and Does it look like Tyra is doing something to her face? I don't understand what Tyra's got going on, but the last few times I've seen Tyra, she has not looked great. She was wearing Bishme. I did see that. You know how he likes to do those faces. So she really didn't even do that justice necessarily, but I get that she was wearing avant-garde fashion, and I appreciate that she was supporting Bishme, who is, the winner of last season's All-Star, which was a great season. So yeah, I don't see anything special about this dress. The flower is not flowering. I feel like it's an idea that could have gone very well, but the heart, they should have just kept the heart. This is the thing. This is why I say Jesus is a hater, because he be over there trying to tell everybody what to do, but this was a terrible idea. The heart is very distracting. It shouldn't even be there. Just put it on her shoe or something. Y'all are like, okay, we get it. My brother, my brother, my brother. Your brother let you, like Veejay said, put a design down there that look a fool. So that flower needed to be way more and more and more and more. Because right now it just looks flat, sad, and flimsy. And I'm not understanding, like, what is she supposed to be? Over here on Wicked, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Then there's these random pads on the hip. So it seems like Antonio was just over there sticking things on this pretty fabric and, calling it avant-garde. I wasn't a fan of it, and nobody else was either. Dang, Nina like reamed him. What did she call it? It was worse than disaster. Tragedy or something like that. Nina don't like him, and he doesn't like her either. And I wonder if she's seen what he said about her in the workroom. See, that's why you don't do that. The editor of Elle magazine, stupid. But Estradas do, but Estradas do. Ethan is in the top. So what do y'all think? I definitely it's definitely avant-garde. Right here in this particular photo, it's doing what it's supposed to do. I'm not sure about the parachute, like the green fabric, but I mean, again, we're only working with 2 days, so there's only so much he can do. But he's got this beaded fabric that he added feathers to, the gloves. It's definitely giving avant-garde and drama. And I feel like she could be a part of Wicked, to be honest. Like I said, she looks like a character in a movie from Oz. Remember in The Wiz, which is my favorite version of The Wizard of Oz, but remember in The Wiz when the colors start happening and they were, dancing around, and the colors was like yellow and blue and green, and the energy was different. I could definitely see her, floating around on the green team. Green is my favorite color. That's not why I like this though. What do y'all think? I'm a Ethan fan. Sometimes he does too much, but what's this kid? Jesus. Nope, that's not Jesus. There he is. Okay, Jesus. I mean, I like it. It's giving avant-garde, and it also feels like a character from, a movie, Oz. She got these long fingernails on, the ones like Ethan makes. So where did he get that from? Was he inspired by Ethan when he did this? The detailing with the beading, we can't see it, but I can see a little bit. Like, I feel the same way about this heart. Take that stupid heart off the dress. It's a distraction. Like, everything about it is right except the heart. Or maybe if they would have made teeny weeny hearts, I personally feel like they should have put the hearts on their own clothes, not on the model. Wear your heart on your own shirt so you can, be attached to your brother spiritually or whatever y'all doing over here. I like how he covered the shoe. It's a yes for me. So they did not, I guess there's no top and no bottom, but who do y'all think did it better? Yes, Chicago girl, the hearts. Ridiculous. Like they're 6 years old. These men are 40, or at least they look like it. Um, who do y'all think wore it better? Ethan or Josh? Josh. Who the heck is Josh? Jesus. Ethan or Jesus? Who do you think deserves the top? Because we didn't hear no top. We're not picking top and bottom right now. We're finding out who's going to the finale. I feel like based on the things that all the judges like this look and all the judges like Ethan's look, except for Law Roach didn't like the panties under there. I didn't like that either. I feel like there's a way like he could have put feathers or a little more embellishment, you know what I'm saying? Just so he couldn't see the panties. But the shoulder area threw you off on Ethan or on Jesus? I guess Jesus, because Ethan didn't have his shoulder area was just very elegant though. Whose shoulder are you talking about? See, like he definitely could have added some more feathers like around her, just so you can't see her panties because they was not nude. She does look very mysterious. Like she looks like a bad guy, but you want to go see anyway. Same thing with Jesus. She looks like a bad guy, but I'm very curious. But she does look like she might hurt you with those fingernails on. So yeah, I feel like if I had to choose, I have to think about that. Yes, where the underwear material starts. I don't know. So who's your favorite though? I can't pick right now. I'll tell you in a minute because I like them both. I'm gonna give it to Ethan because he didn't put a stupid heart on his. He just went with just a sign. But yeah. Okay. Who next? Let's talk about Veejay. I'm not mad at this design, except for the fact that it's red. After the man told you not to do that, and you did it and went outside the box. So now it's very confusing because we don't know where she's coming from. We don't know if she on the green side or the pink side. And this could have been pink. I didn't take a picture of the pink one because I didn't like it. Yeah, I mean, just with how light and buoyant it was at the same time, very kind of gnarly and twisted. It's confusing in terms of you can't tell if she's a good guy or not. Maybe she's a neutral person, but I feel like okay, so should have been pink. There's a picture of the pink. I'm not gonna go find it though. I've had enough technical difficulties, but she did post this on her page. So she did a pink one and she did a green one, and it said what if, and I said what if, because now look at the green one. The green one is way better than the red one. I just wish it had more rings on it. Maybe I feel like I wish it had more rings. And yeah, I like the green one. So yeah, but the pink one was cute. Somebody said, she had, like I said, go to her page. She had people voting. Yu Chen said he liked the pink one down in the comments. I definitely like, I'm not going to pick pink over green because I'm a green girl. So, but it's both were better than the red. It was just so off, brand. So yeah, they were torn by Veejay's because she chose that color. So do you think Veejay's out or do you think Bolognia is out? Who would you rather see a collection from? I don't got to see a collection from Bolognia. I'll be hard on Bolognia, but she keeps saying she found herself. Sorry, I got ice in my mouth. I hate that I like it because I don't like Veejay, but it's cool. Yeah, I mean, you have to separate, you like Michael Jackson too, but there's some bad things about Michael Jackson that people said. I don't know. I would much rather see a collection from Veejay than from Bolognia. So there's Bolognia's look, and it's giving almost, not quite. It's giving almost literary Riding Hood. Like I feel like I could see it as a character, you know what I mean? But it's not enough. I don't know why she ran away from the sparkle because the sparkle, honestly, Think about this. I'll be over here redesigning people's stuff. Think about if she had put that sparkle fabric on the inside where you see that girl's leg. So it's matte on one side and sparkle on the other side just to give it a little She had it back and forth with Nina. Why? Why does she do that? I don't understand. And I feel like obviously it's very hard to take a critique because Nina be going in on her. And I think a little bit of Nina likes her. But Nina needs to, she wants her to like cut that shit out. Like that sassiness. It's so unnecessary. So I saw Tiana Taylor walking down the hallway over at Jennifer Hudson's show. Look how similar um, Tiana's look is to Bolognia's, and Tiana's is better. Now, I don't know who designed it. You feel like she watched the wrong movie? She looks like G.I. Joe? Kind of, or like post-apocalyptic something. That's what it's given. I mean, it's avant-garde. I don't know, but I'm looking at Tiana's and I'm like, so is it streetwear or is it avant-garde? I know I would rather wear the one Tiana is wearing. Now, I don't know. I'm sure there's some very popular designer name attached to that. And I don't know if Bolognia saw it or was inspired by it. I feel like in fashion, this happens. You don't necessarily have to see something. You just find yourself in the same brain space as somebody else and you come up with something similar. But this right here is fire. This is where she needs to elevate to. Bolognia in order to be, you know what I'm saying? Like real fire. This looks like student work, and what Tiana has on looks like absolute designer. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's so much the same vibe, so similar. Isn't that crazy? That's it, y'all. So we got down to the runway. Let's pull these up. Let's look at everybody. This is the order that I would like to see. So who's gonna stay, Veejay or Bolognia? Chicago girl said she would prefer Veejay. I would too. I don't want to see a bunch of polka dots and gauchos and things. Like I don't like any of it. So in my opinion, I feel like Antonio and Bolognia can go. I know them twins think they gonna move through life together, attached it to hip, but not always. And I would like to see Jesus and look, say Jesus can make a coat if he had, a little bit of time. I don't know how much time they're getting, but if he has time to like make some fire coats, then I'm here for that because I'm not mad at his coats. He does have an elegant style, and it seems like he's spiced up a little bit from the beginning. He needs to his brother gonna be helping him regardless, so he needs a little bit of that. Isn't that funny how twins work? Utica, come on to the runway. I want to see Ethan and Utica turn it out because I know that they can. And just like when Nina Garcia is saying something is editorial, the best picture up here is this dress floating down the runway with Ethan. And then La Roche said, he could put that on one of his clients on the red carpet. I was just looking at pictures of him with, what's her name? Jody from Queen and Slim. Jody Turner. I did not know Jody Turner was one of his clients, but he had her in. Can you see Jody Turner in this minus that stupid heart? Oh, child. So yeah, for sure, I want to see what Ethan and Utica can do. We know how I feel about Bolognia. She can go. And Veejay has some very interesting directions and textiles and things. And so the question was asked, who do you want to see go to the finale? And this is where friendships are ended over here. When people get over here and they've been helping each other and best friending each other all the way down, the whole season, and then their best friend don't pick them when it's time to who do you want to see in the finale, that's when all the drama starts. Now Ethan, we'll start with him because he's neutral. Ethan said he would like to go with the twins. All this time, Ethan's ass been saying he doesn't. I want to separate the twins. One of them got to go. He was on team separate the twins, but all of a sudden now he, wants to be friends with the twins so they can go all together, to the finale. I disagree, Ethan. I'm gonna go ahead and say Jesus should go for sure, and you should go for sure, but Antonio, not so much. So I think Ethan was being fake. Or we didn't get to see that. It would have been nice if we got to see, the bond happening between these twins and Ethan, because all we've heard him say is how he wants one of them to go every week. I want one of them to go. So I think the truth is Ethan believes the same thing that we believe, except he doesn't care for Veejay. And you know why he doesn't care for Veejay? Because Veejay won this already in her country. I forget where she won, what country she won in, but she already won Project Runway before. So Ethan would probably prefer to see Veejay leave, because we know Veejay, given a little time, will come up with some interesting things, fashions and what have you. So that's what I think about that. Ethan is full of shit. Who else? Bolognia. Bolognia says she wants to go with the twins. Why? Why would you say that? She been bonding with the twins like that? It don't matter. She ain't going. I don't believe she's going. I don't think by the time Law Roach and Nina get down in that conversation, there will be no Bolognia. Plus, she acted a fool up there. Tyra is a wild card, but Tyra, you're new here, so pick wisely. Now, the fact that Veejay already won may kind of be held against her. They may want to keep her from having the title in two different places, but is it about fashion or is it about popularity? I don't know. She came over here, like Chicago Girl said, her little messy self gave us something to talk about, because otherwise it would have been the Estrada show, and I had enough, as much as I could take, of the Estrada show. So Bolognia, yeah, she wants to go to the finale with the twins, I guess, girl. And maybe for the same reason, though. If you're thinking strategically, if she goes with the twins, then her chances are much higher of winning, because she can't win against Ethan. The twins, of course, chose each other and Ethan. So, they're all best friends and they want to go together. Veejay, child. Veejay got up there and said she want to go with Bolognia and Ethan because these twins don't need the money, and she would prefer going over there with somebody that's nice and humble. Now the business is being told. Now they're no longer focusing on Bolognia and her bad attitude. Now they're talking about how Veejay thinks these twins have a bad attitude. So Law Roach picked up on it immediately. He is here for the mess. So he decided to ask the big question, to the twins, who do you think is the better designer? And they sitting up there, first of all, they had to know this question was coming up. They had to know that at some point the twins were going to be asked, who would you rather go? Me and Kylie talked about this the other day. If she and I were in a competition, I love you, girl, but I want to win. So, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to say, I love my brother, but I want to win. Why is he making it seem like, I can't say that. I wouldn't say that. So, where is it at? There's a little back and forth between La Roche and Jesus. Now, Jesus, is this how you want to talk to the person that's considered the architect of fashion?
I'm not going to answer that.
You saw the hearts on the dresses?
It's a competition.
Please don't do that.
I mean, he was always on top and I was on the bottom, so I'm proud of him.
Right. So you think he's the better designer?
Oh, I mean, yeah, if you want me to say.
Okay, great. That's all I'm trying to get to.
It's okay.
He said it.
I have different family values, as maybe you should one day, too.
It's fine. There can only be one winner at the end of the day.
Yeah, the best winner should win.
Yeah, but let's get there.
Let's get there, honey. No, you didn't tell La Roche he don't have good family values. Stupid. So they walk off the stage because the judges said they got a lot to talk about and a lot to think about. And Veejay goes and lays against the wall because she's so innocent and she doesn't know. You sat up there, nobody was saying anything nasty. Everybody was like, I think this. Oh, Jesus did say he thinks Veejay. Okay, so Jesus did start this one. Yeah. He said he don't think Veejay knows her DNA yet. No, that's Bolognia that doesn't know her DNA. Veejay knows her DNA. I feel like she just always trying to do something outside the box. Sometimes you get outside the box, but there are parameters. Like, remember in school, your teacher give you a rubric, just the guidelines of what are the things that you need to touch on, and then you're free to do with the rest of it on your own. Yeah. So I don't feel like that's the issue. I think Veejay just be going, she throw her rubric away, and then she have to figure it out, outside the box. But yeah, she doesn't know her DNA, and these two aren't humble. And then she goes over there and leans against the wall like she's an innocent flower. And the Estrada brothers are popping off. I can't believe, what's the name? Jesus is mad because this lady said she needed the money more than him and that he wasn't humble. Not. She's right. You're not humble. Neither one of y'all. Jesus is upset with Law Roach because he asked him which brother, who do you think should go to the finale? He didn't say nothing negative. That's just a simple question. It's a competition. Both you and your brother can't win. So you had to at some point feel like that was coming. And, Law Roach was sitting back like, let's see how they crash out over this. So, Veejay is standing against the wall. Like I said, the Estradas are cussing her out, especially Jesus, talking about, you ain't saying I'm humble. It was, she's over there crying. You could hear production saying, just walk over there, just walk over there. And Veejay, Jesus said, if she uncomfortable, then she should leave. It was just, it was messy because I feel like they're so concerned that Veejay is going to come run it on this runway. They don't want her over there. That's why I want her there. Nobody cares. Estrada Antonio crashed out and pretended to walk out. I feel like the same way they brought these other two, Bolognia and Jesus, back, they'll bring this clown from his car with his pink cowboy boots and his pink cowboy hat, throwing a tantrum, grown-ass men throwing a tantrum because somebody asked you, who do you think should go to the finale? It wasn't even a crazy question, but here they go. So, yeah, I think they're scared of you, Veejay. I think they're scared. In my opinion, Antonio and Bolognia, out. Y'all let me know what you think. In the meantime, y'all, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. I don't know who says that. Somebody I watch. Rodney the Voice, I think. Anyway, y'all, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.